My name is Alan Steele. I am the U.S. District Sales Manager with responsibility for the eastern portions of the states of Virginia and Maryland. This month I am celebrating 25 years with Sumitomo. I would like to share with you a dirty salesman story that harkens back to the coat and tie era of field sales. I was working day watch out of Bunko when a call came in requesting that I respond to a customer complaint of a leaking Bayer variator at a nearby water treatment facility. Upon arriving at the facility, I was met by a maintenance mechanic who, after assessing my GQ appearance, quickly determined that I was going to be of very little use to him that day. But I followed him down a ladder into the pump room, where in the middle of the floor I walked over to the Bayer variator and announced, "Yep, it's leaking." He said, "Thanks a lot. What are you going to do about it?" And I told him that someone would be getting back to him and left. A couple of days later, I was informed that no one from the factory was available to fix the Bayer variator and asked if I would be so kind as to go and repair it myself. Of course, I responded that I'd be happy to. Swapping out my GQ attire for some work clothes and outfitted with a couple of gallons of Bayer oil, output shaft seals, and my tools, I went back to the customer the following week, where I was met by the same mechanic who had greeted me the week before. This time his reception was decidedly different. We worked on the Bayer variator together, chatting away, the best of friends. And we were bashing sales guys. He said, "Boy, you're a big improvement over that last guy you all sent out." I said, "Who was that?" He said, "I don't know. Some clown showed up here in a shirt and tie, dress shoes, and I mean to tell you that guy was as worthless as the day is long. He told me something that I already knew, that the Bayer was leaking, and then he left, I guess, to go play golf." And I said, "Yeah, those sales guys, that's all they do is drive around all day playing golf." Well, we were trashing salesmen even while we were cleaning up in the restroom. And during a pause in the conversation, I offered, "Hey, you remember that salesman from last week?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, that was me." He froze, and after an uncomfortable pause, he whipped around and looked at me and said, "No, no." And I said, "Yes." And after a very uncomfortable pause, we both burst out laughing and had a great chuckle over the whole thing. The lesson here, folks, is if you show up at a customer looking like you're not prepared to be very useful to him, then the odds are you ain't gonna be. Have a great sales meeting.